Hi, this is Janelle Jones, owner of the Hustling Hotties company, and I am here today with Jessica Rosen for the Big Dreamer series, and she is from the owner of the Laughing Lizard Company. Hi, Jessica, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you. I would love to find out more about your company. I've heard it's really interesting. So tell me about your company.
It is interesting. I raise tropical roaches called Blaptica dubia, or dubia for short, and they are sold as food for reptiles. So bearded dragons, leopard geckos, any reptile that eats insects, basically. Other small mammals and birds can eat them as well, but mostly they're fed to reptiles.
So how did you get into that type of business?
That's a really long story, probably for like 3 interviews in a series. But the short version is, my degree is in environmental science and biology. While I was finishing up my degree program, I broke my leg. And during the surgery to fix the break in my ankle, the main nerve in my leg was severed. I couldn't continue with my research or anything that I was doing at the time. That was in 2010. And I worked with insects during my degree program. So after that happened, I finished my degree, but I couldn't continue, and took some time off from really doing much of anything. I had to recover for a couple of years. I was on crutches for 2 years after that due to the nerve damage, and started homeschooling my kids. My son, who was I think 9 at the time, wanted a leopard gecko, and got him a leopard gecko. And then I ended up in this whole reptile world where I realized there was a need for these, for stable producers of these insects, for a stable business in the live insect industry. And I realized the potential of working with these insects. They're not like pest roaches, so they can't like infest my house or anything. And I just jumped right in. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I can do this within my physical limitations. It works for me. I can do it from home. And I started and I never looked back. And that was 2 years ago.
Wow. So this is what you do full time. You don't do anything else.
Yeah. This is my full-time thing, man. Full-time thing. And I love it. Well, I do now. I have a second business as a business strategist and consultant for other non-traditional small business owners. But this has been my full-time gig for the last 2 years.
Wow, that's amazing. So the business strategy leads me into my next question, and because this whole thing is about strategy, what strategies did you use to build this business, your business?
So the big one was goal setting, directed goal setting. And I would set a really big goal for myself, 6 months or a year out. And then I would break it down into smaller goals that built upon each other to reach that big goal. Another one was, I kind of worked like a social experiment into building my business and seeing if I could build my customer base organically. Because I saw the potential of social media groups, the activity that was going on in the reptile group, the Facebook groups for reptile owners. And I was like, you know what? I bet I can build this business without paying for advertising, without making many or any free advertising posts, and build it organically through helping people and getting my name out there that way. And then, building a customer base that then generates referrals. So that's been a huge strategy that's been super successful. I think I've made like 4 free advertising posts and I had to pull them down within like a week. And that's the only like active advertising that I've done. I do a lot of passive advertising. Traction marketing is a huge strategy that I use. Just being there in the groups where people are looking for my product and making myself known through answering questions and being helpful, and not actively trying to sell as much as just making it known that I'm there and what I have and who I am and that I'm available and accessible.
Yeah, I'm all for genuine connections. I find that these days, genuine connections with the social media that we have, they're lost within social media. So it sounds like you have a lot of genuine connections.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's, that genuine connection does tend to get lost on social media if you're not intentional about it and really, just conscious about building those connections. So I take all of my orders through my Facebook page, through Messenger. I don't have a website where you can where anybody can purchase from, because I have that one-on-one connections, and that works really well, especially for my products, because people usually have a lot of questions. I get a lot of people who are new, not just new to reptiles, but also new to buying roaches. Bearded dragons have become so popular. They're really popular as like pets for younger kids. So I get a lot of parents who are not sure about how to, you know, take care of these bugs that their child's pet is now eating. So it gives me the opportunity to really connect with people on that level and educate them, and you know, make it not so scary to be bringing these roaches into their house, because they're not scary roaches.
Oh goodness, just even the thought of it. I'm thinking about my son and I'm like, oh my God, if he ever.
Right. But really, they're not that bad. Look, I get a lot of, you know, moms, right, who are like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Or their teenager previously took care of it, and now their teenager has gone off to college and they have this bearded dragon, and they're like, oh wow, you know, I'm the one who has to like deal with these insects. And surprisingly, I get a lot of people who are terrified to get them. And then once they get them, after a couple days, they're sending me pictures with their favorite bug, and he has a name, and he has a seat at the dinner table with them now, and he's a pet.
God, no.
And yeah. So.
Oh no, definitely not. You take that bug with you to college. Oh no.
Right. But I'm really helping people to change their mind about the traditional, you know, stigma around roaches, because not all of them are bad. They're not all bad.
So what you said you'd like to do goal setting. I love to do goal setting. What is one outrageous goal that you set and you've accomplished?
To be the best dubia vendor in the industry. And last year, 2017 was the year that I established myself. My next goal is to be the biggest, and I'm about to have that happen. I have a second location opening this fall, a wholesale distribution location, my partner location.
Wow.
And my business is set to scale by 500% compared to last fall. So I am achieving those goals, and just to, you know, really, my goals when I started were to keep the lights on, right? Play with bugs all day, you know, and have some fun, right? And that somewhere along the way, those goals became a whole lot bigger, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And as we grow, our goals get bigger, and, you know, we're constantly, you know, striving for better and more as entrepreneurs. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So what is my next question is, who is one person who you would say has helped you along the way? In what way did they help you? Because we all need help as entrepreneurs.
My assistant.
Yeah.
My assistant. Listen, if you have a business and you're starting to get overwhelmed, delegate, outsource, get somebody to help you, right? He doesn't work that much, right? It's like 5 hours a week, but luckily I was in a position where I was able to help mentor him in building his own business through buying bugs from me and then reselling them at a markup locally to himself. So he's actually the partner in my partner location, right? Which is pretty amazing, right? He's done such a good job. You know, like I know I was really scared about hiring somebody. I was really scared because I mean, I'm handing over something that I just spent 50 hours a week building for a year straight. And I'm at that transition point of, okay, now I'm like making more than a survivable income. I'm making a comfortable income, and I'm putting my trust into somebody else to help me continue it, you know, not just continue where I am, but continue to grow it. And it was one of the best decisions that I made. So Sean Fuller, hands down, has been integral in helping me grow this to where it is.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so many people are like, oh, but this is my baby. You've got to let it go.
Right. Well, right. It's not going to, it can't, just like kids, it's not going to be a baby forever, right? Exactly. You get it out of that nurturing stage into something that's, you know, established, and then it's more of, you know, maintenance and growth and maintenance and growth. And you can only grow it to a certain level by yourself. And I had to look at that. You know, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to stay where I am? And I know I can do more, but I'm going to do it by myself. You know, I know I can make this bigger, but if I want to do it all myself, I can't make it bigger. Or do I want to take that risk, you know, what's the worst that happens? It doesn't work out. You know, you test them out with like some tasks here and there and see how they do, find somebody willing to learn, you know, all of those good things, and trust yourself that you're going to make the right decisions if it's not working out, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. That's perfect. So as a caveat to that, what is one bit of advice that you would give a new entrepreneur, somebody who's just starting out in this whole world?
Be flexible. Be flexible. Yeah, have goals, have a direction, know you want where you want to go. Follow those goals, be consistent, really give it, you know, your all at working towards things, but also be flexible that when, you know, you're getting those signs or that information that, you know, you need to make adjustments somewhere, be okay with doing that too. You know, be flexible, pay attention, because if you're paying attention along the way, you don't have to make huge adjustments all at once. You can make little adjustments. Okay, you know, maybe I do need to adjust this end goal. Maybe I do need to change my direction a little bit, or change my target market, or what. The people that I thought I was going to serve when I started are not exactly the people that I'm serving now. They're close, but you know, I've been able to focus in. My strategies that I use have changed a lot. Because I've been flexible, and it's been for the better, you know?
I love it. Definitely. So what can you say is your ultimate dream right now? What is the end game? Like, if I accomplish this, I'm good.
Yeah. Putting a product on the market for human consumption to help reduce our country's dependence on unsustainable agriculture. It'll taste good. It'll taste good. I promise. But, you know, an alternative protein product for human consumption that people love, right? It's not going to be like eating a pile of bugs, to help reduce our country's dependence on unsustainable agriculture, because it's a real issue. You know, we need to start thinking more sustainably in terms of our food options, and insects are a very realistic way to do that.
And I actually have eaten insects before. I've had
cool.
ant eggs. When I was in Thailand, I had ant eggs, and I've had what is the other thing? I don't remember, but it was made in a lollipop. So.
Right. And you know, the U.S. is the only country that does not use insects as food, right? We're the only country that has such a huge stigma around it. That's like, oh no, you know, and they're actually a really efficient and sustainable protein source. And we really need to start looking at that for like the long-term sustainability of the environment, and as well as feeding people. And you can produce a whole lot in a really small amount of space, with a really small amount of energy, a really small footprint. I mean, I have very low overhead on my production. I have like 10% overhead.
Wow,
that's
great.
Yeah, for a product-based business.
Yeah,
for a product-based business, that's like nothing. It's nothing. Right. You know,
yeah, that's great.
It's mostly PayPal fees. It's not even like operating expenses, like to run my colony itself. It's PayPal fees and shipping is my overhead.
Wow. That's great. That's absolutely fabulous. So for new people that are starting up, what is your, and it's not even necessarily for new people starting up, what is your must read #1 book for a suggestion for an entrepreneur?
Oh, #1 book for an entrepreneur. I'm horrible. I haven't read any entrepreneurial books.
You haven't? Okay,
I haven't.
What's your must-read book?
My
self-help, whatever it is.
Yeah, Into the Wild by John Krakauer. And it's the true story of Christopher McCandless, who took off. He went across the country and ended up in the Alaskan wildlife. But it's told through his letters and quotes from like Thoreau and different passages that were highlighted and found in his books with his belongings. And it's a very intimate look at somebody's life and their journey, and really helpful in terms of like personal development and just taking that look at yourself. You know, it's also an interesting story. It was made into a movie, but the book is so much better. And
I think I've heard of it before, but I haven't read it or seen the movie.
Yeah, so if you've the movie's pretty decent, but the book goes much more in depth, and really takes you on a journey and challenges you to look at yourself too. You know, at what's really important, and it's about, I think, kind of, you know, taking those risks, even if you don't, right? And it's a pretty tragic story. I'm not ruining it for anybody. He dies. You find out at the beginning he dies. It's a true story, so you could find that out, you know. But he died in the Alaskan wilderness. But he's like, I this is what I want to do, you know, and you know, went and did that and lived his life in a way that most people don't. And if you don't do that, you know, you don't take whatever that is for you. You know, if you want to live the life that most people do, go for it. If that's what makes you happy, go. It's you know, go for it, but also be prepared as well. You know, like kind of like take a step back and really look at things and evaluate them critically.
Gosh, yeah, you make me want to read it now. Go pick it up and read it.
I read it a long time ago, and it's always stuck with me as one of my favorite books.
Okay, definitely. Thank you. So 2 more questions here.
Sure.
A quote. I'd love to get a quote from you. What is your favorite quote that you'd like to share?
For like entrepreneurs or just life in general?
Just in general.
So it would be from the Grateful Dead song, Scarlet Begonias, and it would be, once in a while you get shown the light in the strangest of places if you look at it right.
It's true. It's all a perception. Yeah. It's all about how you look at things.
Absolutely. It's right. It's all about perspective, you know, and challenges. I look at challenges as opportunities to learn, opportunities for growth, opportunities to make changes that maybe I hadn't thought about, you know, that, okay, maybe I'm having this challenge now, so I make these changes, so this isn't a much bigger challenge later on. And it's all about perspective and how you look at things.
Definitely, definitely. So how can we participate in your movement? How can we get in touch with you? Where can we find you?
So I'm on Facebook. That's the only place that I am right now. Okay. My page for business strategy is Jessica Rosen. I'll get the link to that, but if you just search Jessica Rosen, the only one that is just my name. My bugs are the Laughing Lizard Company on Facebook. There's not a whole lot on there because I don't do a whole ton of advertising, but there will be more information on there, as well as on my consulting page on how to get involved with when we're starting to work on the protein product that we're looking at starting research and development for that in the next 12 months. So there'll be a lot of stuff coming out about that as well. But Facebook, and one day I'll have a website, maybe. I don't do things the way other people do.
It blew my mind when I contacted you and you said, I don't have a website. And I'm like, what is she talking about?
Yeah, I don't. Well, you know, like I'm very intentional about where my budget goes for my business. Yeah, like you can make a penny or a dollar go a really long way if you are very intentional about where that money goes and where you need things at different stages. And I've looked at having a website. It's not like I have totally dismissed it. I've looked at it several times, both for my insect business and for personal use. And every time it's been like, you know what, now's not the right time. I'm going to invest this money in somewhere else where it's going to be, you know, a quicker, greater return right now. And I've not had that need for a website, and it might become one of those things where I never have one, or I have one that is really just there. But I'm really, look, if you're effective at building an audience on social media and driving that audience to a Facebook page, that can be an effective tool. Definitely. You know, it's all where you drive your traffic and how you use what's there and the resources that are available for whatever platform it is that you're using for people to get in touch with you.
Definitely. You have to do what works for your business. So I agree 100%. Definitely.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate your time. If there's anything else that you want to share with our viewers, please let me know. I am going to put the link to your Facebook link pages down below on the page here. Awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Look, take those risks, right? Take those risks. You know, there was about this time last year that an opportunity came up to buy the supplies and inventory of a pretty large business. And I was really scared about doing that because not only was it quadrupling my supply, you know, my production overnight, which is a great thing, but it was also a really scary thing because I was doing it all on my own and I was already kind of overwhelmed with what I was doing. But it required driving 20 hours one way to pick up all of the supplies and, you know, and I was like, how am I going to manage this? It's going to be a 3-day trip. I can't shut down my business because I can't afford to shut down my business if I'm spending a lot of money, a lot more money more money than I used to make in a year, right? More money than I used to make in a year on this supplies and inventory. It's like, I can't shut my business down. So I have this very tiny window on how to do it. And I have very little resources in terms of, I have an 11 and 13-year-old on who was going to watch my kids for those couple days, how I was going to physically do this. It was requiring, you know, I had to put 60 Tupperware bins, like 35-gallon bins full of live insects in the back of a 26-foot U-Haul and drive the thing in a straight shot back from northern Michigan to northeast Pennsylvania, because I couldn't stop because it would have been too cold to like sleep overnight somewhere to leave them in the truck. And I was not going to empty the whole truck into a hotel room. And it was a pretty big undertaking. And I did it, right? I did it. And my business is where it is now and is going to be one of the biggest in the online market for Dubia in the next 6 months, because I did that, you know, because I took that risk and I was like, I'm just going to do it. I don't care how scary it is. Maybe whatever happens, right? But I'm going to do this, because if I don't, I'm going to be kicking myself in the butt for the rest of my life that I did not do it, you know? And you have to step up, right? When those opportunities happen, you have to step up and trust that you're going to grow, and you're going to have, you know, if you don't already have the skills and the tools that you need to take on that challenge, you're going to develop them in the process, you know, and maybe it's going to be a really difficult process, and it's going to be scary, whatever, but you're going to come out of that smarter and stronger and more capable and ready for what's next. You know, because if those opportunities come to you and you don't show up and say, okay, I'm ready for this, you know, you're not going to have what comes after that. Because how are you going to do what comes after that if you can't do what's in front of you?
Oh my goodness, that's so true. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's so true. We're so strong as women and we don't even realize it. Just
right.
For you to do that, that's phenomenal, really.
Yeah, the tire on this truck was bigger than my head. I was really scared. I was shaking for like the first 15 minutes. And I was driving this truck. I was like, oh my God, I got to drive this on the highway 20 hours home. I almost turned around right there. I almost didn't even get out of the U-Haul parking lot when we got to Michigan to pick up the truck. And I almost said, you know what? I'm just going to leave the truck here. I'm going to call the rental car place and I'm going to tell them my car is going back to Pennsylvania and I'll be dropping it off in Pennsylvania tomorrow morning. Because it was just the thought of driving that big truck was really, I mean, it was massive. It was like one step below.
Did you drive it by yourself?
I did. Well, my husband was with me, but okay. I did the majority of the driving, you know, because he was doing the majority of like the packing. We had to leave at 4 a.m. from everywhere that we were. So it was, so he did most of the driving up there, the loading of all the bugs into the truck, and like the whole.
So he was tired once he finished all that.
Yeah, I mean, right. We did 40 hours of driving between Thursday morning and Saturday night. So it was, you know, there was like no sleep in general at all. Like it was very rushed. And then I came home and I unloaded everything and I worked all day Sunday and I went back to regular shipping on Monday morning.
Oh my gosh.
Back into my 70-hour week. I don't think I slept for like 3 months after I picked up that big colony because I had so much to do. But yeah. I mean, I was able to learn all of the skills that I needed to scale a business. I mean, I literally scaled my business from May of last year through September. I scaled it by 1,000%. I mean, I did 1,000% scale. I bought 2 businesses. That was the second business that I had purchased the inventory and supplies of since May. And I was like, okay, I gotta, you know, I just got to do this. These opportunities are here for a reason. I'm not going to not take them. I'm just going to, I'm going to do this. And that's, wow. Yeah. So that's how I ended up with.
Jump on it. I love
it. Yeah. Yeah. So do it. Whatever that thing is, right? That opportunity that is coming to you that you're like, oh, this is so crazy. I can't take this. Do it. Follow it. Right? Even if it doesn't work out, you will learn some amazing things in the process. You will learn some amazing things about how strong you are, about what you're capable of, about what strategies work, what strategies don't. You know, there's no failure in going after an opportunity and giving it your all.
That's absolutely perfect. Thank you just so much, Jessica. This was great. I loved it. Thank you. I feel so motivated. I'm ready to go do something.
Well, thank you. I hope that the women who watch the summit enjoy it.
Yes, they will. Thank you. Okay. Have a good one, and I will end this now.